I'm a simple man. I don't need all the fancy bars and restaurants. Like, I've done that for the last 10 years. I've just been like bounced around the world to different exotic locations, and it's been amazing. And like, but I just love like the simplicity of it all.
Hi, I'm Ben from NME, and we're here with Flume. How are things, Harley? And where are you?
Good. Yeah, I'm just sitting on the floor in my junk room.
And where is that? Where are you?
It's in my. I just have one room dedicated to shit I don't know where to put. So I've just got all sorts of bits and pieces. We've got some lights, light bulbs,
Nice.
some a gaming PC over there. We got my speakers, some studio speakers, all great stuff. It's just like got some records, some gold records. I fucking this is like a whippersnipper, which is like for trimming grass. I don't know. It's a mess.
Cool. So yeah, we're here to talk about your new album Palaces. So how did that all come together, and what's like the story behind it?
Well, I kind of just, wrote a bunch of music with a bunch of different people over a few years and recorded stuff in Vegas with Damon Albarn. I did some remote things like the song with OK Lou during COVID time. Anyways, I just got all these ideas, took them with me and brought them back to Australia, and then kind of like finished them and polished them. And basically everything came together here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it's just like, it's a collection of a bunch of different ideas and songs, and I'm really happy with the way it turned out. Been working with Jonathan Zawada, who does all the visual element of the campaign, and he lives down the road. So we've been really inspired by kind of the natural world here, because I'm living in Australia, but I'm living like not in a city. It's called Byron Bay, but it's like I'm in the rainforest, basically, like rural. I got like macadamia farms on either side, and like, there's not a lot. You can't get an Uber, put it that way. You can't get a fucking Uber. I think there's one taxi in the area, maybe two.
And how has like living in that kind of setting like inspired the album? Because don't you live? Is there a python outside your house? Is that right?
Yeah, I just probably live around the roof right now, somewhere. Yeah, I had a guy come and like install the air conditioning unit, and he was like, "Mate, I just saw like 30 snake skins up there in the roof."
Really?
Just like shattered skin from the snake. Yeah.
So why did you decide to move back then to Australia from LA? Had you kind of had enough of it, or?
Depressing, man. Like, big cities can be really depressing, and here it's a really great lifestyle. Like, I love just waking up, going surfing. Like, I'm a simple man. I don't need all the fancy bars and restaurants. Like, I've done that for the last 10 years. I've just been like bounced around the world to different exotic locations, and it's been amazing. And like, but I just love like the simplicity of it all. Like, I know the people down at the shops. So there's a great sense of community.
So I suppose it gave you a bit of a reset then. Did you move back during lockdown, or was it after?
It was, kind of everything locked down, and then I moved to Australia.
So how did that, like, getting back to like wildlife and rural kind of life away from the city, how did that kind of help you mentally then, if you were getting pissed off with LA?
Oh, I mean, like, LA is great. I like I love it there, but it's after a while I just kind of get a bit like lose my mind a bit. I think like I just need the space and the peace and the quiet. I wake up to the sound of like birds and cows mooing in the paddock. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know, my dog's here, my family lives down the road, I got some great friends in the area.
Yeah.
It's just like I've got a lot of kind of support networks, but also just, I'm not wearing shoes most of the time. I've got my like vegetable garden, and I don't know, it's just a simpler existence. And but it's good to go back and forth. Like, I really enjoy the kind of fast-paced life of the big city as well. But ultimately, this has been really helpful to create. I find I was getting a little bit stuck in the States,
Right.
not like, and coming here and doing fuck all made it possible and like helped to unblock whatever was going on.
And you've obviously spoken before about like battles with like anxiety and pressure of touring. So I guess with the pandemic, has that given you time to kind of think about that and approach shows in a new way?
Yeah, I mean, I was like drinking a lot when I was on tour just because it was it made it like manageable. I had quite a lot of, I'm not like one to get up on a stage. I'm not really a performer. So I ended up kind of having a few drinks before every show, but then I was doing like 6 shows a week. And then, you know, after you have a few drinks before the show, you have a few drinks while you're doing the show. And then after the show, I'm like, well, I have a few more drinks. And before I knew it, I was kind of just an alcoholic, I guess.
Right.
Just on tour. Just on tour.
Just
and
to
it
get
was like, just to get through it. And then I kind of came to a point where I saw someone about it and I was like, I want to quit touring because I'm just not happy doing it. And then I went on like antidepressants and tried that out, and it worked really well and helped me kind of manage it and figure out how to just cope with it all. It really helped a lot. Since gotten off them, so I'm not on anything anymore, but I am going to go back into touring, and I'm actually looking really forward to it. And I think just being aware of all of this, it was kind of easy to just kind of let yourself fall into these patterns, but now I'm hyper aware of it all. So I think, I've come a long way since, you know, 5 years ago. And so I'm actually genuinely looking forward to touring again. It's been a long time.
So I guess making this new album, was that like a release for yourself as well in terms of your mental health?
Yeah, I mean, it feels good to have stuff out in the world. I think there's a real pressure these days with the algorithm, you know, Spotify and constantly putting music out. So it's nice to kind of have one in the canon ready to go. But, you know what I mean? But then, then you kind of get on the hamster wheel of just trying to like keep up with, you know, feed the machine.
And you mentioned earlier about like Damon Albarn, but you've also got some other pretty big collaborators like Caroline Polachek, and you work with Danielle Hall. So how did all those kind of collaborations come together? Let's talk about the Damon one first, because that's pretty. I think you spoke about that in an interview with NME a couple of years ago. Like you manifested it.
Yeah, I think you asked. Oh, I think I got asked who one of my dream collaborators would be.
Yeah,
and I said Damon Albarn, and then
come to life. And what was that like working with him? How did that happen?
We played a festival in Vegas called Life is Beautiful, and then we linked up afterwards and got a studio, some weird studio in like the middle of nowhere. You kind of drive out into the desert in Vegas through a bunch of car parks, and there's this one building, nondescript. You go in, it kind of smells like weed, but like old, you know, like kind of feeling. But then there's like, you know, hundreds of gold records and platinum records on the wall from artists. But we went in and I played him a bunch of music. I had like a whole series of ideas, just random bits and pieces, and he didn't like anything.
Oh, really?
Nah. And then I was on the second last one. He was like, all right, there's something in this. This is cool. Like, I want to try this. So luckily something worked out.
Yeah. And was it easy, like kind of natural working together?
Yeah, no, it was cool. I was quite nervous, like, because I was a huge fan, obviously, but but yeah, after he kind of came around to one of the songs, I was like, all right. Thanks fuck for that.
I think also the album kind of seems to, in a way, like pay tribute to Sophie, because I know she was like your friend and a collaborator. Was that something you were kind of aiming to do, or did it just come about that way?
Yeah, I mean, is huge influence for me. Sophie's been a huge. I mean, Sophie actually showed me how to make a bunch of the sounds on the record.
Really?
Like, yeah, just we would do, we've done a lot of work together over the years. And like, I'd often be like, she'd just rock up with this tiny little box, the Mono Machine by Electron, and just start making the most insane sounds. And I'd kind of record in, and then sometimes I'm like, how does this, how? And so if it'd be like, oh, it's simple, just look at this. And she pulls up a synth on my computer and just recreates the sound on software. And
wow.
I'm just, how did you, I don't understand.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Sophie showed me how to make some of those sounds, and I huge influence.
Yeah. And what do you think about like the whole kind of hyper pop explosion? What are your thoughts on the whole scene in general?
I mean, I think there's some like, really cool elements to it. I think like a lot of really bad stuff as well.
Yeah.
With it, like, thing that gets big,
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, yeah, I mean, like I feel like Sophie kind of, it's really sad that Sophie's not with us, because Sophie kind of was one of the founding
exactly
of this whole thing, so influence on the record for sure for some of the songs.
And obviously you said about Coachella earlier, I guess that was a massive moment, and I think you brought out pretty much everyone that's on the record.
we had a turnout and had Caroline up there, which is amazing. Like, performing that was really, really cool. She's again just so talented and such an incredible voice. She sounds like no one else, She's got an incredibly unique voice, and that's what I look for. And it's just cool to be able to have the chance to work with her, and
then getting Damon on the piano as well.
Yeah, it was really special.
Yeah, that's really cool. And then you also had like the augmented reality kind of side of it as well. Is that something you wanted to, like, how did that come about? Is that something you've always wanted to get involved in with your shows?
Oh, the augmented reality stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it was cool. Like, Coachella wanted to do some augmented reality stuff, and for weekend one, they kind of messed with some of Jonathan Zawada's graphics and some of the flowers and stuff. But yeah, I checked it out. Look cool.
And do you think that's kind of the future of like music shows, or like give something extra maybe to people who, I don't know, are streaming it and can't be there?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's like, I mean, like, it's cool and fun, but you're still watching it on the screen ultimately.
True. Yeah.
But it definitely like got potential, and is a really interesting use of technology. I think it felt like when the augmented reality stuff, which did look great, when it kind of came on, it kind of made the stage look fake.
And also in 2018, you said in an NME interview that you don't really know what EDM is. Do you still kind of feel the same way, or like what did you kind of mean by that?
I was like, I think EDM was a bit of a dirty word at the time, and I felt it was stupid, because I'm like, well, you can dance to hip hop music and it's made electronically, so it's all hip hop EDM.
Yeah.
Is electronic dance music, is Aphex Twin EDM? Well, yeah, because it's electronic. I mean, like, I don't know. It's just the whole thing was kind of like, if you're just going to group anything that's electronic as EDM, then all hip hop is EDM. So I guess that was my gripe, but now I embrace it.
Yeah. So do you not think of it as a dirty word anymore? Kind of, take it on.
Yeah. Man, EDM. I love EDM. I am EDM.
And you also said that you don't want any record to sound the same, that you want to constantly try new stuff. So do you think you've kind of achieved that goal over the last years?
I think I kind of like did that with the first album. I think second one, there's some more poppy, like with pop stuff. I think I made some interesting pop stuff, and then I think with the mixtape I made some interesting like granular stuff, and I think this new album is kind of like a combination of the mixtape and Skin. So
Yeah.
got some like poppy vocals and melodies, but it's with a lot of the granular kind of more left field sound design.
And then the one last thing, obviously the whole Burning Man situation from a couple of years ago. What do you, looking back on that, what's your kind of take on it now?
Man, like on 2 LSD to DJing on a giant mushroom, like it was probably 6 stories tall, to like tens of thousands of people having the best time. And then someone held up a sign saying, "Does Flume even eat ass?" And I was like, sort of, I was like, haha, like hell yeah. And then he's held up another sign saying, "Prove it." My girlfriend at the time saw it and she was like, "Oh my God," and jumped up and they slammed my face into a butt. And the crowd's just like, what? So much fun. I think like at first it was definitely like, oh shit, like what's happening? Because it blew up a lot on Twitter and stuff.
Yeah.
And I definitely did have an awkward family Christmas like dinner that year. No one mentioned it. That's why it was awkward.
Right. Oh, got the elephant in the room.
Yeah, it was just like, but ultimately it was actually like, I think I had a really squeaky clean image, and it kind of was liberating to like not have that anymore. And it made me feel like much more relaxed, and I can just be myself more, using things, just because it's like I fucking ate an ass at Burning Man, and I'm on Pornhub now, so you know, like
that's something that not many people can say. So,
so it's all good.
Wicked, brilliant. I think we'll leave it there, Harley. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thank you.